Hey everyone, FPS Chazla here. Welcome back to Let's Play Dangerous Waters with Reinforce Alert 140. We are doing this Ohio Boomer Track and Trail mission here. And the Ohio seems to be getting into a place where it's getting decently close to us. We're seeing it on the hull sonar with 2 frequencies showing up. Seen it pretty well on the Toad with 3 frequencies showing up, but we're not seeing it on the cylindrical yet. He's moving at 12 knots. So the fact that we are not seeing him on the cylindrical yet seems to be good for us. I reset the solution because it wasn't making any sense. I'm going to go ahead and merge this up though. Sierra 7 and Sierra 8 merge. I want to get some data on this guy, but I also kind of want to turn around. We have a loose triangulation here. Oh, we're getting some more data. So we just got new data in at the same time, so the triangulation method is valid here. But let's see. What would that tell us? It would tell us that it would be rather far back. And you know, that's possible. That is possible. It is moving 12 knots. Anything's possible with the Lord. Let's go ahead and get a marker on that. I want to be able to get some demon. See if his speed has changed. Don't think that was lined up just right. Tracker. Master 4. Oh, 12 knots, excuse me. 12 knots. 12 knots is what we're dealing with here. Very well. I mean, if we're going for an intersection, it's still moving. Well, I think we... At a certain point, you just gotta pick something. Just go with it. What is this new data saying? Just bringing it in or putting it out? Putting it out. Okay, that's too far. At a certain point, you just got to be like, okay, what is it probably doing? Let's bring it in to about 23,000 meters. See what we get with that. The problem is we're not getting very good. So since we seem to be kind of close to this guy, or we're at least in a situation where he's moving almost parallel to us, which means that the LOBs are always almost on the same bearing, or they're at the point where they're kind of like, you know, they're intersecting at the same place. The point is we're not getting a lot of bearing rate, so our solution is getting driven by bearing error, as in the plus or minus on each LOB versus something better. So let's go ahead and versus something better. I'm going to go ahead and turn around here. It's hard to tell what we're seeing with this small amount of data. I wonder if I should have kept it as like Toad or something, or just like left it alone. Because now I'm just fiddling with stuff that could be anything. I kind of want to turn around, or at least let's head inland maybe. It might be better to head in for a little bit, but we don't have much room to maneuver with. So we can do that for a little bit. So let's go ahead and turn due west for a little bit here.
Rudder right, steer course 27.
Get ourselves in kind of in up behind them or something, hopefully. We have... Okay, we need to reassign those squalls because they are not assigned right now. Tube 4 external, Tube 5 internal. Tube 4 external, Tube 5 internal. Presets, good. Presets, good. Cool. So if the, you know, the defecation hits the oscillation here, we can get some shots off and boogie. This is, I don't know why it's telling me it's skirting in the mud, but that ain't right. Okay. So we are now coming about here. We'll have maybe 1 or 2 more LOBs before we lose, start getting the wonky toe data, but we'll keep getting conformal data. So the conformal is I think the darker one. I'm pretty sure the lighter one here is the Toad. Ooh, what's this solution doing? Hadouken. See, I'm trying to go for where it's straightening out, because he's most likely doing a constant course right now. If you go just to where it's straightened out, it's showing something like right about there. which does not seem right. I think if it was that close in, I would be seeing it on the cylindrical doing 12 knots. So I don't think that's right. So I'm thinking further out, but you never know. We will find out here. Let's try and get a better sense of what this is doing. If you go strictly based on trying to get this straightened out and assuming a constant course and speed here, I mean, it is telling you something a little closer in. This can be confidence high, and then at this point it's a threat because we're going to shoot it and shrink it. Let's take a look at our other solutions and verify what is going on with them. We're assuming they're moving at 12 knots as well. Probably a pretty good assumption. I want the Ohio to kind of be parallel to these courses. That kind of makes the most sense to me. If it's parallel to these courses. Look at that wonky toad data going on there. That would make the most sense to me if the Ohio is kind of, you know, straddling these guys. But I'm not sure why the Ohio would be coming up as louder than these boats. There's me in the turn. See, we're not seeing any of the boats on the broadband here, so we can't get any decent TPK data on them. That Burke we're barely hearing, and that Ticon we're kind of hearing. So, you know, they're out there. I would think that Ohio is maybe spearheading this, kind of heading due east, or it's in like the middle there. What do we get when we do Master 4 and just hold that at the old 090 here? Hold that at the old 090. What do we get? Really close to Master 2. Really close to Master 2. Okay, well, we are changing course now, so we will be able to hopefully, you know, get a better perspective on this front. We're going to lose them in the, see, it's even holding a peak on the broadband now in the hull sonar there. Yeah, I wish I could see some of those other surface ships there to get some demon on them, but, you know, assuming that they are going the same speed as the Ohio, and assuming that due east is their proper course, and that's what they're doing. No doubt about it. This solution's weird though. If you go for where these intersect, these LOBs, it's kind of, you know, all the way out in Kingdom Come, so that doesn't really make any sense. Oh, hello, but now we're getting different data here because we're now turning. Oh, I don't want to hold the course here, thank you. It's like having me bring it in. Something's going on with like some errant. I don't think it's this close, but you never know. Oh, well, I'm not sure which one which column here is the correct data. See, I'm not, is that the, see here I was thinking this right here is the conformal, so is that a new conformal dot or is that a new conformal dot? If that's all part of that same data like over this way, then you would have something like that potentially. It is hard to say. This is a finicky one. Not sure why this one's being so finicky, but hopefully this course change will help sort us out here, because we've kind of just been going, you know,
7-1.
due north or due south, but now we're going due west. So that should help us out. What do we got here? What is this? Is that me still turning out of here? No. That's a Ticon. That's getting... No, that's me. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, no. There's no way that's not me. There's no way that's not me. Is that what I'm trying to say? I don't know. Probably. Okay. Still 2 on here. Nothing on cylindrical. Well, back it out fully. Yeah, nothing there. Yes. Akula. Call me an Akula 1. I'm an Akula 2, gosh darn it. Oh my, looky there, gosh darn, Akula 2. Don't ya know? Okay. We are getting 4 4 frequency lines on the Ohio, so it's pretty close. It has to be pretty close, moving 12 knots and seeing 4 frequency lines there. Our toad is straightening. We are getting all the datas. I'm thinking this line here is this has to be the conformal. This has to be toad data. And earlier I was making solutions to the quote-unquote toad data, but we'll stay with the conformal now. Remember, if we hold that due east, we'll get something around here. See, that's still closer to that ship than I want that to be. That's not what I would expect. I would not expect something like that. But hopefully this course change will help sort this out. But the thing is, it's been holding this bearing pretty decently. It's been staying up in this quadrant almost the whole time, but that's definitely like a reciprocal kick out. But the question still is it coming from this side of data or this side? Like, do these dots move up that way, or do these dots move up that way? Maybe I should split this, and we'll just keep a solution on this here. Keep it on the whole passive. I mean, if we're this close in, there's no point in using the toad, really. It's almost a moot point. Okay, so we're looking at this data here. So now we got some pretty constant data. There's some decent bearing error rate going on here. But we got ourselves some data. How much data? Just a little data. So moving this course here should help us out. This should be... We were kind of doing a lead lag before, but it's a much stronger effect now. And then we can eventually turn away and get some more data to help home this down. But hopefully we get some good data here. I need to re-up these to here and here. 4 external squall, 5 internal squall. You know, Jesus. You know, I was thinking I was going to have to get... Christ almighty. You know, I was thinking I was going to have to get into this mission and shoot, like, right away, but we have more time than I thought. Why does that propeller look so... It's just a weird texture, I guess. That is a weird one. That's a big boat. I wish you could see me up next to this. I'd probably only be this long, and the cools are pretty big. We probably have a similar draft to it. And a beam. It has a much wider beam than in LA. Okay, toad is straight. We can even look at Sierra 8. See what Sierra 8 is even telling us here. Keep that 12 knots going. See, multiple solutions can be fitting here. So even just here, we have 2 different solutions on this guy. Oy, I no sé. Okay, now we're seeing the full range of solutions here. You know, it's going everywhere. Just, you know, haven't a clue in the world about what this guy's actually doing. But we got to keep it quiet because our boat is not the quietest. What kind of toad arrays does an Ohio have? That's a good question. What kind of toad arrays does the Ohio have? It has a TB-23. That's a very good toad. It's not a Siebel for a Virginia toad, but it's an LA starboard toad, which is a pretty good toad. Better than mine, at least, but it does not have a toad out right now. That is not toad water. Oy. Drinky. I'm just drinking water. No drinky right now. Okay, how's this bearing doing? Here's our Ticon. We're still seeing that Burke out there, but still faint. It's still faint. But we still have our Ticon as well. Getting 3 frequencies on our Ticon. Jeez. This throat clears. 12 knots. Okay, it looks like it may be, you know, something a little shallower Well, it actually is right on the money there. Okay. That one put it a little further away. What about Master 2 up there? If they keep getting pushed away as time goes on, that means, you know, speed's probably wrong. Or something about the solution is off a little bit. Most likely speed in my experience. Okay, CR7, how we doing on this front? How's our data? We're getting a decent bearing error on this, which is interesting. It's hard to tell how curvy the data is when there's all this bearing error in it, so that's why we're keeping the toad solution going on. The toad solution may be our savior here. You can see that the top data is kind of curving out here a little bit. Yeah, it's really hard to tell when this is going to be straightening up. I'm kind of just fitting this to the mean of these bearings. The mean of these bearings here. Okay, see, now here, there's an obvious kink, so it's a little further out than that. And if we move it back even more, we have another kink. So it looks like somewhere right in here seems to be pretty good. Probably actually looking at something like this, it seems like. The toad seems to be giving us some good data on that front. When you put yourself in this kind of position here where you're, you know, kind of closing the gap, you get a higher bearing rate on these solutions, and it makes it a little easier. What happens if we fit this to that? So we have course 103 and range 15,000 meters. Course 103, 15,000 meters-ish. I mean, that seems to, like, match up too. I mean, it's hard to tell with this conformal data. It's pretty wonky, actually. It's not very consistent. Okay, but we are getting some... We don't want to lose our tactical advantage now, so that's an issue. And my throw clears are an issue as well, so we need to turn back to due east here, because at some point we're going to have to plot an intercept. Don't want to lose too much ground here. Setting up lead lag solutions. It may be a little further in. Of course, you can zoom in for a little better acuity, but sometimes, you know, a little too much zoom is not a good thing. Can be not a good thing. Let's kick it out a little bit. So that adjusted it, yeah, by about a nautical mile or so. So that seems to be a pretty good guesstimate. So let's go ahead and turn back east here. I'm going to try and plot an intercept. A squall range circle would be nice. We don't have to use squalls. We could use standoff torps even. 5.8 for a little safety factor. But let's kick it up to 4. And let's go.
Set revolutions for 4 knots. Propulsion
Let's go this way.
Rudder right, steer course
Excuse
0,
me.
5,
Oh,
6.
gosh.
Steering eye.
Oi. Disgusting. So we're going to head about northeast. Increase speed by a little bit. Try and get ourselves in a position for a shot. Let's go ahead and assign some standoff weapons to him. I only have 1 standoff weapon in the tube. We'll go ahead. Well, since we're not shooting, you know, we're not shooting any air bases or anything, I'll just put some standoff weapons in the tubes in place of the land attacks. And if we need to, we can just launch a full spread on that guy. These guys could potentially shoot those missiles down, but they're pretty fast. So that standoff weapons may not be the best resort, but we'll save that. We'll keep that tucked up our sleeve in case those squalls miss, because I'm going to be going for the squall shot. Getting in close, going for that squall. But yeah, I'm going to stop here. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you guys next time. Have a good one. And as always, good hunting.